Hello traders, welcome back to this video. It is a Sunday and we do top-down analysis on Sundays. I give you guys bias and most of my bias are very correct. So here I have gold. I have a very good bias on gold. First of all, I want to show you a very good trade example and then you can try and learn something out of it. So on gold, I got this trade on Friday. It was a very good trade on gold, and this trade came out from the 5 minute time frame. So I took this trade because I had this low as a strong low because we had this sweep of liquidity on this side, and then price went up to break structure at this high. So what made me to take this trade and target this high is because I saw that gold is trying to break this trend line, and this is the first break of this trend line. This was the candles were closing above the trend line, and if I can zoom out, you can see that the market was not closing above that trend line. You can see the first, second, third, fourth, and then we have the fifth touch here. And then on the sixth touch, we have the candles closing above that trend line. So I knew the price is ready to break this trend line, and then we'll be targeting the swing point liquidity where the trend line started. So currently, on gold, I have a very good bias that this trend line liquidity, the swing point up here is going to be taken out as liquidity. So currently, I have a bias that gold is willing to buy to the upside into that trend line liquidity. And I have told you guys that I took this trade because that was our strong low, and on this strong low we have the 5 minutes order block. We have this order block here, so I drew my order block from that point to this low. So my stop loss was from this low, on this low, and then my entry point was from what was at this order block. So in this point I don't need a confirmation because it is a lower time frame. You cannot use lower time frame to look for a confirmation. So on the 5 minutes time frame, I entered this point, and then my take profit was from the 30 minutes order block. I was targeting the 30 minutes order block that was at this point, and that is where my take profit was. So currently, we can see that clearly the trend line liquidity is going to be targeted, and already we have one trend line liquidity taken out, and I want to see this high, the highest point to be. I want to see also the market taking out this liquidity. So currently, I want to see a retest of this trend line. The market will be pulling back into this trend line liquidity, and then have a retest, and then we look for more buys to the upside. So where do I expect the market to react from? I expect the market to react from this 4 hour order block. Let me delete this so that I can make my chart very clear. So there is this order block here that has a fair value gap from the 4 hour time frame, and that is the only order block that is remaining behind, that is unmitigated. So this order block here, I expect price to be reacting from that point because there will be a retest to this trend line, and then I look for my more buys to the upside. So I'll be having my buys from this order block, and then the stop losses just below the order block, and the take profit will be on at this high at the buy side liquidity. So coming back into the lower time frame, that is my entry point, and I'll be expecting to, let's say maybe if we have a very good confirmation from this entry point, we go to the upside. But I don't expect you to have aggressive entries because when having aggressive entries, the stop loss will be very big, and that is more riskier. So I'll expect you guys to have a confirmation, and I'll update you on Wednesday with whatever happens with this. With anything that will happen, I'll be updating you guys. So that is my expectation on gold. I expect some buys from that point of interest to the upside. Yeah, so I think that is it, guys, on gold. That is my buyers on gold. I expect some buying pressure from this point, and we look to buy from this area to the upside. So coming into the 30 minutes time frame, there is no any good order block to mark. So the only order block that we can see is the 4 hour order block. From the 3 hour time frame, yeah, from the 3 hour time frame also, that is the only order block that is remaining behind, and I expect to see a reaction from that order block. And guys, this is a very good trade, and I think it will be a very good bias for this week because I have so much confluence, but because I have the trend line liquidity confluence, I expect the highest point to be taken out as the liquidity. So that is why I'm saying that I have a very good bias this week on gold. So, and as you all know, my bias is most of the time you will find my bias very correct. Yeah, so next I have BTC USD. BTC USD is current, sorry, not BTC USD, NAS 100. I have NAS 100. So currently on NAS 100 is having a reaction from the daily order block, and I expect to see more buys to the upside from NAS 100. So you can see there was a tap into the price tapped into the order block, the daily order block, and we have this reaction to the upside. So what I want to see price breaking this resistance level, and then we have a retest to take our buys to the upside. So on NAS 100, I expect if I want to buy, I want to see the price breaking this resistance level, and then when having a pullback into this now it will become a support level, and then I'll be taking my buys from this level to the upside. So my setup, I expect my setup to be from this point, and then I'll be targeting this high. So I think it is very clear. And coming into the 1 hour time frame, I don't see any clear structure. That is why I'm saying that I need to see the price breaking this support, the resistance level before looking for more buys to the upside. So I expect price to break it, retest, and then I'll be looking for a change of character or a very good confirmation to have my buys to the upside because currently you can see that we had this sweep of liquidity. Price went up to break structure, and then there is no any sweep of liquidity on these structures. So what the market did, the market had this pullback to the downside to take out these two lows, the lows that are inside here, the internal structures, where the market came to take out them as the internal structures liquidity, and then we have the reaction from the order block, the daily order block. And now I expect price to be buying to the upside. And once you understand that after a break of structure, the internal structures become liquidity, you'll be getting it right most of the time. So for me, I understand that these internal structures have been taken out as liquidity, and now I expect more buying pressure to the upside. So that is my point of view. And also, we can have another bias from this point, from the lower time frame. If the market will be coming down, this low here swept this low's liquidity. You can see that there was a break to the upside, and then the market came down to sweep these lows as a liquidity before going to the upside. So in case we have a break up here, I'll be expecting to have my buys from this low. Let me look if I can see a very good order block. So the only order block I see is this one here that is unmitigated. That is the order block. So if I extend it into this other side, let me see on the 30 minutes time frame. Yeah, on the 30 minutes time frame also you can adjust it to this high. So if we have a break to this high, if we have a break on this high, and then we let's say maybe we expect a reaction from this resistance level. I'll be expecting some buy momentum from this order block to the upside. So we will wait and see what happens, and then I'll update you guys on Wednesday, because also on Wednesday we always have another video of getting our buyers. So that is it on NAS 100. I think it is very simple and a very clear analysis. So what I expect, I'll be expecting some buys from here if we have a pullback. But if we don't have any pullback into this area, I'll be looking to buy from this point, from this retest to this uh, from let's say maybe if we have a break, I'll be expecting a retest into this support level before we buy to the upside. But if we have the reaction from this point, I expect to buy from this order block, the 30 minutes order block. And then the first step profit will be up here at the resistance level, and then the second take profit will be up here. So that is it, guys. Let me adjust this. Yeah. So that is it for this NAS 100 analysis. It is a very good trade to take, and I expect some buys from either this point or this point. So if we have the break, we have the retest, and then we look for buys to the upside. So that is it on NAS 100. Let's go to GBP USD. So on GBP USD, I have some levels. I told you guys that from the daily time frame, we had the reaction from the order block, and I told you I expect to see price going to break this low because of this change of character. After a change of character, price came back to this order block, the daily order block, and we have this aggressive selling. So what I expect price to have a retest into this area, or it can also come to this high, and then we look for more sales to the downside. But we'll look and we'll wait and see what the market will be doing before we have any entries to the downside. So what I expect from GBP USD, I expect more sales because I expect this low to be taken out because of the change of character. So what I'm expecting to see is a break of structure to the downside. So for now, I think GBP USD is having a retracement, and this retracement will, let's say maybe we will have a reaction from this resistance level, uh, and if I will not have a reaction from this point to take my sales to the downside, I'll be looking at this high up here, and then we'll just have let's say maybe I'll update you on Wednesday in case of anything that will be happening. So but for now, I prefer having a trade this point this point, and then my stop loss will be just above this area. And we can also see some let's say maybe some grab of this highs liquidity before going down. So we'll just wait to see the reaction, and then we'll have our entry after we have a confirmation. So you cannot just come here and take any, let's say maybe a trade aggressively. So that is it on GBPSD. The first take profit will be here, and then the second take profit will be down there. So I expect a reaction from this support level, the resistance level, the support level that became a resistance level. So I expect those sales from there. We will wait and see, and then if I have any update on Wednesday, I'll be updating you guys. So that is it for GBP USD. Yeah, I think that is all I have on GBP USD. Yeah. So also on Euro USD, more sales. I'm looking for more sales. I'm also looking for more sales. So on GBP USD, I told you from the last video, I told you guys that I expect one of the internal structures to be taken out, or all these internal structures to be taken out before price pushes to the upside. So, and currently that is what is happening. And I see one of the internal structures has already been taken out. So, what I can advise you guys is that we always react with how the market reacts. And now that the first internal structure has been taken out, we might see some buying pressure, and we will react with that buying pressure if there is any buying pressure. So we'll just wait and see what the market will be doing. But currently, because GBP is selling, and same as to Euro USD, GBP USD and Euro USD, most of the time you will find them going in the same direction. So I'll be expecting sales on Euro USD. So the same thing as I said on GBP USD, we expect a retest to the resistance level that is there, and then we take ourselves to the downside. So, and currently on GBP, on Euro USD, I see there is a support level at this point. The resistance level at this point as a support level that became a resistant level. So I expect a push to this level, and then I'll be waiting to see a reaction before I take my sales to the downside. So I think it is a very similar, uh, let's say maybe a similar bias to GBP USD, and my first target will be down here, and then the second target will be at this order block. So on Euro USD, I expect a retest, and then we look for sales to the downside. So that is it, and I think it is very clear. So on GBP USD and Euro USD, I expect more sales. And you guys just make sure you are very keen to take those sales if we have a confirmation. And if I have any update, I'll surely update you guys. So I think that is it. Let me try to look at USD JPY. USD JPY. USD JPY, we did not have any pullback. I told you guys we'll be looking for more buys, but we didn't have any pullback at this point to have our entries to the upside. Price has been pushing very aggressively to the upside, and we don't have any entry to take our trades to the upside also. So what I expect from USD JPY, I expect this high to be taken out, and the reason is because once this break of structure happened, we expected one of those internal structures that are there to be taken out as inducement before the price goes to break structure to the upside, and that is exactly what has happened. Price came down, took out this low. This was the first pullback before the break. After the break, we have this break of structure, and this was the first pullback. So this is our first inducement, the major inducement. So price came down. We had a consolidation at this point. Price came down, swept these lows liquidity, and now we have this push to the upside. So what I expect price to break this high and form a new break of structure. So currently on USD JPY, I expect you guys to be looking for more buys to the upside. So where do I expect price to pull back into before having that buy to the upside? So I expect price. I see some. I think it is a support level at this point. I expect price to drop down into this area, and then we'll be looking for more buys to the upside. So let me adjust it to make it even more smaller, because I see there is a break here and then a retest. So I think the support level is at this point. Yeah. So I think this is it. So I expect price to drop into this area, react from this area, and then we look for buys to the upside. So that is my analysis on USD JPY. and then the stop loss will be just below the support level. But we are not going to enter aggressively. Use smart money concept, change of character to have your entry to the upside. Support and resistance levels help us to identify where we can have a reaction, and at that point we look for a change of character at this support level, and then we take our buys to the upside. So guys, I think that is it for this video on USD JPY. I expect more buys. I expect there is the retest to this level and then more buys to the upside. And on the other pairs, on gold, I've told you guys I'm going to look for buys to the upside, because USD JPY will be having the retest. I think gold will be buying more and more to the upside before USD JPY has that retest, because somehow when USD JPY is selling, you will find gold buying, or when gold is selling, you will find USD JPY buying. So at that point, I think that is very, very clear, and we have our bars for this week. So thank you guys for being here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and even subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any update or any bars that I provide for you guys. So I think that is it for today. Let's watch out for another bias on Wednesday.